Hello everybody and welcome back to the Young Fan Podcast. Today it's very simple. I'm going to be doing my final League One predictions for this incredible 2020 to 2021 campaign. We've seen teams shock us, surprise us. Still, with 8 games left of the season, there's teams battling out at the bottom of the league table, trying to keep themselves in the league, and of course at the top as well. Teams trying to finish in that top 6, even automatic promotion places still up for grabs for those trying to play in the Championship next season. Like I've said, it's been a great campaign, exciting for so many different teams, and today I'm going to be trying to do my final outcomes. You can see we're doing it in a tier list system once again today, but I've done it in a way because I want to try to do it a little bit unique. I don't want to go through every individual position because it just drags the podcast episode out. I want to try and get it so very concise, very precise as well, so it doesn't drag it out for no apparent reason. So you can see on the screen right now 6 categories, 24 teams below that, and I'm going to be giving and justifying why I'm putting each team in the categories that I have chosen. Now please, as always, do leave a like on this episode of the podcast. If you disagree with me, please don't dislike the video. Give it a like as always, but in the comments down below, make it a discussion. I want to be hearing from you. I'll be responding to every single one of you people's thoughts. And yeah, I can't wait to hear what you people think as well. Also, if you want to be part of this journey, we've got lots of different content coming your way as well. Please hit that subscribe button. Thank you to everyone that's been part of the journey to hit us to 200 subs. It's been incredible in recent weeks. I can't thank you enough. So now, every single one of you, if you're new, please do subscribe and turn notification bell on as well so you don't miss an episode of the podcast. Anyway, let's not drag admin out any longer. Let's get straight into it and let's get to what we're all here for. So, we're going to start off with the first team we can see, and you can see on the screen it is Doncaster. Now, for Doncaster, they're currently sat in 10th, and they've had a pretty good season, haven't they? They've had a season that I don't think I expect. They were shooting up the league table under Darren Moore. He's now obviously gone to Sheffield Wednesday of the Championship, and since he's left, they have fallen. And their place has fallen. They were in the top 6 pretty comfortably, and now since he's left, they have slowly fallen out. And that is, you can see as well in recent weeks, their form hasn't been good enough. They lost 4 out of their last 5 games as of recording, and when you're trying to finish yourself in the top 6 and getting the results in the run-in, losing 4 out of 5 of your last few games, and last 5 games in particular, isn't good enough and isn't going to be enough to get yourself, if it's close like it is, because it's so tight, it just isn't going to be good enough. So I think they're currently sat in 10th, like I said. I think they are, to be honest with you, I really can't see them finishing the top 6 now because they've got to just change their fortunes around. Have they got enough time? Have they got the sort of inner energy to be able to turn their season around? It's been a good season, but turn this patch of form round, I just don't think they have. So for that reason, I think I'm going to put them in that sort of 10th, 14th to 10th category, sort of in that mid-table finish. But they have had such a great season, and I think with time, and I don't know whether or not the manager they've appointed, I know it's an interim manager, but I don't know if he's going to stay to next season. But if they can have a good summer and have a good transfer window and keep the players that have been so good for them this season, who knows what can happen for Doncaster Rovers next season. I think it's an exciting time if you're a Rovers fan. Next up then, Accrington Stanley. I think another team, very, very similar position to Doncaster. They're 11th, just one place lower than Doncaster. Another team that did surprise me a little bit. Another team I didn't think would be where they were. And at the start of the season, they were, and sort of the season starts the season to the middle of the season, almost to January, they were in the shout for top 6. They were in the shout for the playoff spots. But again, some bad form and some points being dropped here and there. They have slowly sort of fallen down in that mid-table places. And that's a shame for them because, again, they're a good team and they've shown this season that they're not a bad side. And again, like I said, that sort of patch of doing really, really well and then falling off is disappointing for Accrington Stanley. And I think for them, that may be the reason why they don't finish in the top 6. They're not out of it. They're on 57 points, the exact same as Doncaster. And they have, they've got a game in hand on a few teams. They've got a game in hand, 2 games in hand on Gillingham, who are 9th. But they're on 57 points. The first team in Lincoln on 62 points. So they are 5 points away from the playoffs. Do they have enough to do that? For me, I'm not entirely sure. For that reason, for that reason, I'm going to put them in the same category as Doncaster, to be honest with you. I'm going to put them in that 14th to 10th category. I just think that's where they're going to finish come the end of the season. But a good season for Accrington Stanley, nonetheless. And like I said, similar to Doncaster, a good summer transfer window. Let's take them to the next level. And I think it should be another interesting season for them next season. Lincoln then. They're currently 6th in the league table. They currently find themselves in the playoff spots. They're currently set on 62 points, but in recent weeks they have fallen off. In the last 5 games, 3 defeats in there, which isn't good enough. And they played 37 games. Again, some teams around have played 38. So they've got a game in hand on teams like Portsmouth, Sunderland, Peterborough. They've got 2 games in hand. 2 games in hand on Peterborough and 2 games in hand on Hull. But they are on a really bad run of form. And Michael Appleton at Lincoln City is a manager that I know very, very well since he was here at Oxford United. Did a great job there taking us back into League One. But do they have the necessary skills and do they have the form to keep themselves in that top 6? Right now, that's in doubt, I think. Right now, that's something that's got to be thought about. And at the moment, I don't think it is. Their form isn't good enough. And they've got teams like Charlton, Ipswich, Gillingham, Oxford as well, and like I said, Doncaster and Atkinson in there, all in the shout, still pushing up to try and get that 6th spot, and that's where Lincoln are. And when you're in that 6th spot, you've got to be winning games to retain that. At the moment, they're not. And I think, and I'm sorry, Lincoln fans, and I think you've had a really, really good season. I remember when you were up first, second in the league table, really, really flying high. I just think you may fall short. It's going to be so disappointing. But for that reason, I think you might finish just outside the playoffs, and that's why I'm going to put you in that category. And it proves now, it makes a very interesting rest of the podcast episode, because it means there's someone that isn't in the top 6 that I feel like will finish in the playoff spots. Next up then, my team, Oxford United, a team that had hopes to finish in the top 6 like they did last season. Heartbreak at the end of last season, losing to Wycombe in the playoff final, and we hoped that was going to be the game, and that was going to be what we needed to come back this season even stronger. And we went on that great run a few weeks ago, and then we've just fallen off. And that's the problem. You need to be consistent. You need to be playing at the best, especially in this running of the season. You need to be playing at the best and getting the results, especially as it is as tight as it is. I'm not going to be a delusional Oxford United fan and think that we're going to get in the top 6. We just haven't got it right now. We're just not good enough. When you compare us to the teams in that top 6 right now and the teams that are pushing for those spots, we're just not good enough, unfortunately. I think that's a bit of a shame. We're 12th in the league table. It could finish as a bit of a mid-table finish, but I think we've got enough. We've got a few games that I do expect Oxford United to do better in, and for that reason, I think we're going to finish in the 9th to 7th category with Lincoln. Next up is Blackpool, a team that are on a run. They're on a roll at the moment, Blackpool. They started the season a little bit hit and miss. They found themselves mid-table, and they had a really, really good summer transfer window. I remember seeing that. And also, they've got a really good manager, the ex-Liverpool under-23s manager, that seems to be getting things really going in the right direction at Blackpool at the moment. And I think they might do it. I'm going to put them in. They're 5th right now. They've pushed themselves into those spots, and I think they're going to finish there. 6th to 3rd is the first team going in there, and that's Blackpool, because they're a really, really good side at the moment. The last 5 games, they've won 4 out of them. They're in a great run of form, and when it's important in this run-in, it's the business end of the season, they're getting the results they need, and that's why I'm going to put them in that category. Portsmouth then. Another team that I think will finish in that 6th to 3rd spot. I just think that is where they're going to finish right now. They're in a really, really good place. They sacked Jackett a few weeks ago. He just didn't feel right, I don't think, for Portsmouth fans. For a long time they've had him, well, not for a long time, but for quite a few seasons now they've had Jackett as manager, and they just felt that it was time for them to make the change. They found themselves sort of drifting in that sort of 10th, 11th area of the league table when he got sacked, and since the new manager come in, it's the Cowley brothers as well, hasn't it? He's come in, and they've come in as well. He is as well. I'm not sure. Are they both there? Or is it just one of them? But they've just come in and done a fantastic job at Pompey since they've come in. Like I said, now they're 64 points. They've won 4 out of their last 5 games. I just think they're going to have enough to finish in that top 6. And is this the season that finally Portsmouth overcome their playoff, their playoff curse they've got, and finish in the top 6, and then maybe get themselves into the Championship next season? For Portsmouth, that's what they want to see. But yeah, 6th to 3rd for Portsmouth, I think. Next team then is Burton Albion, a team that at the start of the season and for a lot before their new manager came in, Floyd Hasselbank, it was a season to forget for Burton. They were rock bottom of the league table. They looked like they were going to need a miracle to get themselves out of the relegation zone and try and claw themselves to safety. But since this manager's come in, he has taken Burton to the next level. He's taken Burton out of the relegation zone. I think they're going to be safe. I really, really do. I think they're going to. Well, I think they are. I think the form they're on and the way that they're playing. They have had some dodgy results in the last 5 games. but they won the last game, and I think they've just got enough. I really, really do. I think they have. They went on a great run. They got some really, really good wins since he came in. He sort of got the team working. He's got the team clicking. He brought in quite a few players in January that has taken this team and created a team that is better than a relegation side, and it's proved that now because I think they're going to be safe. Sunderland then. Sunderland are on a great run of form. Their last 5 games, 3 wins as well. So they're doing really, really well. Again, another manager that was sacked, Phil Parkinson, at the start of the season. New manager's come in and he's now got them going again. Sunderland, they're a massive club. They're a team that really shouldn't be in League One. And I think this season, I really do think Sunderland could surprise a lot of people in terms of not just finishing the top 6. I'm actually going to put them in that automatic promotion place. Now, I am going to give my title thoughts on who I think will win the league. And it isn't Sunderland. It isn't. I don't think Sunderland have got enough to win the league. However, I think they've definitely got enough to finish in that top 2. We've seen it. They're on great form. They're on 71 points. Peterborough, who are the team above us, only got 2 points more than them, and they've played a game against Sunderland. They've got a game in hand on Peterborough as well. So they're really in the shout. They're really in the mix for those automatic promotion places. And since the new managers come in, we saw it recently. Oxford United got beaten by Sunderland, and you could see they're a they're a great unit. They're a great team. They got some quality players, and I think they're ready now to take the step back up into the Championship, where I think they belong. Championship, Premier League. They've got the ground. They've got the club size. They've got the fan base. But no, they're a really good side. I think they may finish first or second. I'm going to go second this season. Northampton Town then. Another team, of course, the first team actually that we're going to put in the... It's difficult. I haven't really sort of gone through and made too many notes there. I've got a rough idea. I think they're going to be safe. They got promoted from League 2 into League 1 last season. They've had a bit of a hit and miss start season, but in the last 5 games they've got 2 wins. They have lost the rest of them, but they've got two wins, and those are very important wins. When you're in the relegation zone, when you're in a place and you're pushing for things or pushing for things or trying to get yourself out of things, in this case the relegation battle, every result is massive. Every point is huge. And I think with those 2 wins in the last 5 games and with the games they've got coming up as well, I think they may have got enough. So for Burton, at the moment, they are in the 19th position in the league table. I think they're going to be safe. I think they've just got enough to stay in the league. Next up then, Hull City, current league leaders. 40 games they've played, 76 points, 3 wins from their last 5. I think they're going to win the league. I think they are. I think they're going to win the league. I'm going to put them there so we can fully see that. I think I'm going to put them first. I think they've got enough to win the league because they've got a really good squad. They've got a decent manager as well, and they've really, they got relegated last season. They came into this league, and I think it was a shock. Hull a few seasons ago in the Premier League, and it's weird to see Hull in League One, and just like Sunderland as well. It's weird to see these teams in League One with us. But at the end of the day, they've got a really good squad, and yeah, they've fallen down, the leagues in the recent years. But generally, I think they're on the up. I think they are. They needed to win the league title. They needed to get back to the Championship as quickly as possible, and they've shown, they've shown that desire and want to get back up the leagues. And Hull, I think, will win the league this season. AFC Wimbledon then. They're currently in 22nd in the league table. However, I think they've got enough to stay up. I think they have got enough to stay up. We haven't yet seen a team. I haven't yet put a team in the relegation zone, and they're not going to put in there either. They're on 22 points. 22 plays. They're on 36 points, but they're only a point outside the relegation zone. Swindon, who are 20th, are on 37. Both Bristol Rovers are on 37 as well, and that's only a goal difference. The reason why they're in the relegation zone. And Wimbledon are 1 point away from that, and Northampton are only 3 points away from them as well. So it's so tight down the bottom. But I just think Wimbledon have got enough to stay in the league. They've got 38 games. They've played 38 games as well, and they've got 2 games in hand on Bristol, who are above us. Bristol Rovers are 1 place above them, and they've got a game in hand against Swindon as well, which could be massive if they do get the results in those games in hand. I think Wimbledon have got enough to stay in the league, and I'm going to put them safe 20th to 15th in that category. Next up then, Charlton Athletic, a team also that got relegated last season from the Championship down to League One. And I'm going to put them in the playoffs. They're 7th right now, and I think they've got enough. They've got a new manager come in. Their old manager, of course, went to... let's remember it off the top of my head. He went to Birmingham, there it is, Birmingham. It did come to me. They obviously went to Birmingham. They're on 59 points right now. They have got a game, Lincoln have got a game in hand on them. Of course, they're in 6th, and they are 3 points away from them, but Charlton are in really good form. 3 wins in their previous 5 games, and like I said, Lincoln are in a really, really bad position in terms of form. So I think Charlton may get there, but again, it's between Charlton, it's against Ipswich as well. They've got to compete in with. So there's a lot of teams still in for a shout, but I think Charlton have got that cutting edge, and they've got they've got something about them now with the new manager coming in. Again, another thing about their club size, they've got some quality players. I think they're going to finish in that top 6. You talk about some great players. Jake Forster-Cassidy, of course, a player that's been great for Charlton this season. I think he's going to be the man, and with a really good squad at Charlton, I think they're going to finish in the playoffs come the end of the season. Next up then, MK Dons. MK Dons currently sat in 13th, but in their recent 5 games, they've won 4. 4 wins from their previous 5 games, and technically, they are in a bit of a... Are they in the playoff race? It's interesting to see that they are quite a few points away, but they're in the shout with a lot of teams. They're in the shouts with Oxford, Crewe, Accrington, Doncaster, Gillingham, Ipswich, Charlton. They're sort of in that sort of, there's 2 to 7 points in between all those sort of teams. I don't think they're going to be in a playoff race at the end of the season. I think I'm going to put them in that 14th to 10th category. I think that's where they're going to finish. But generally, the last 5 games have been absolutely fantastic, and I think it's exciting to see MK Dons now with they've got with again another like a few teams. They go out with a really, really good summer transfer window, keeping hold of some important players. Next season could be the year that we see them pushing for that top 6 and really pushing up the league table. Going into next season. Plymouth Argyle then, a team that got promoted from League 2 into League 1 last season. They're currently 16th. They've won 2 out of their last 5 games and a draw in there as well. The other 2 were, of course, defeats. I think they're safe. I think they are safe. They're on 52 points. The team in the first team in the relegation zone's on 37. So I think they're safe, but I think they're going to be in that 20th to 15th category. I've got a feeling that's where I'm going to put them. I think that's where they're going to finish come the end of the season. Not much more to say about that. A good season for them considering they've just been promoted. That's where I'm going to put Plymouth Argyle. Gillingham then, currently 9th in the league table. 2 wins in the previous 5 and 2 draws in there as well. I mean, at the moment, they're in 9th to 7th if we're looking at the league table right now, but I think they may fall out of that. I think they have played more games, around 40 games compared to others being around them, playing 38 and 39. I think they're going to be in that 14th to 10th come the end of the season. That's where I'm going to put them, where I'm putting them, where I'm predicting the teams come the end of the season. I think they're going to be between 14th and 10th. Shrewsbury Town then. Shrewsbury Town. Where are we going to put them? They're currently 17th. I don't think they're in a relegation battle, to be honest with you. I think they're all sort of in that sort of same area as Plymouth. They are in that sort of Plymouth-Burton area. They're 3 of those teams they're definitely not in a relegation battle. I don't think they're in that sort of promotion playoff top 6 / mid-table area. So for that reason, pretty quick and simple, I think they will, and I think I'm comfortably saying I think they'll probably finish 20th to 15th. Swindon then. Swindon Town, have they got enough to stay up? As an Oxford United fan, I try and take my bias away from it. 2 wins from their previous 5. However, they're not looking great. They are joint level on points with a team in the relegation zone. They've got some difficult games as well, and they have got a few teams above. They've got they have got a game in hand on a few teams. However, Wimbledon have got a game in hand on them. I promise this isn't biased. I promise this isn't from a biased point of view. But looking at the league table, I just think there's teams around them that probably are better than Swindon and probably will go down. And it's difficult. It really, really is. I'm going to put them in the relegation zone. I think I am. I'm going to put them in that relegation zone category because I'm looking at the teams around them. There's some teams in there that have won more games in their previous 5. I think they're going to do it. I think they probably will go down this season, and that's just me predicting it. I'm not entirely sure, though. That's difficult. The relegation battle is so tight, and that's why it's really difficult to predict those teams finishing the bottom 4 getting relegated. And it's going to sound like I'm just doing it because I'm an Oxford fan, but generally, if you look at the league table, it's so tight. There's something in that says to me they may not have enough. And it's a shame because I do sort of want them to stay in the league because we're not going to go up this season as Oxford United. So, I want that sort of Oxford United Swindon derby game again next season. So, if they do go down, we won't be having that. So, part of me wants them to stay in the league, but obviously part of me wants them to get relegated. But I think they might get relegated. I'm looking at their recent form. I think that may be where they finish. Bristol Rovers then, a team that of course now got Joey Barton in charge. I think we thought that he was going to be able to, keep them up and he might keep them in this league. But they really don't look good. Their last 5 games, they've lost 4 of them. They did win their last game, and like I said, they're in that shout of Swindon, Bristol Rovers, Wimbledon, Wigan, all those teams so tight, and Rochdale as well. There's so many teams in that sort of relegation area. However, I don't think they've got enough. I really don't. I think they may get relegated. Like, it's difficult. It's so tight, and I'd be interested to see what you people think, and that's why I want in the comments down below a bit of a discussion. I think they are going to finish in that relegation zone. I apologise, Bristol. I just don't think you've got enough. I'm looking at recent form. I just don't think you have, and you've played more games as well. 1 or 2 more games than the teams around you, which is not helpful, of course. Next up, then, Crewe. Where I'm going to put them. I think they're going to be another team going in that 20th to 15th category. I think they are. They're a good team this season. Their last 5 games, they've won 3. They've won, lost, and won. So they're a little bit inconsistent when it comes to winning and losing the last 5 games. However, they've surprised me this season. They really, really have. They're currently 14th. I think they might sort of fall down a little bit and finish in that 20th to 15th category. However, they could easily finish that 14th to 10th category. I think they could, because it's very, very tight, and they're a team that definitely with results can easily, because it's so tight in that middle of the table, you can literally, go anywhere in there. I think they're going to finish 20th to 15th as of right now. They're currently 14th, so it wouldn't surprise me if they maybe do find themselves 14th to 10th come the end of the season, but I'm going to put them there. Fleetwood Town then. Another team that appointed a manager mid-season. Grayson, of course, the ex-Sunderland manager, and Leeds manager, I believe. 39 games played, 53 points. Again, they're in that sort of... It's close pretty much between Doncaster and Fleetwood. Only 4 points, separate 11th to 15th. It's so tight. But I think they're going to finish 14th to 10th. That's where I'm going to put Fleetwood Town. They had a really good season last season, finishing the top 6 with Joey Barton as manager. And for Joey, I mean, it's weird, isn't it? You're playing playoff football end of last season, and at the end of this season, you're trying to keep a team from relegation. It's a very, very difficult position that he's in. Something behind closed doors, I'm guessing, happened between Joey and the football club at Fleetwood. But for me, 14th to 10th is where they're going to finish. Wigan Athletic then, a team that I do feel sorry for, because the off the pitch stuff really hasn't helped them, and obviously when things start affecting you off the pitch, eventually on the pitch things are going to be affected when you can't bring in the players, and for a large amount of the season you're struggling. You really, really are. And they are currently 23rd in the league table. They haven't won a game in the last 5 games. 3 of them have been losses. However, they're really not dead and buried. They really can still collect themselves out of the relegation battle. However, I just don't think they will. I think they're going to finish in that relegation, in that bottom 4, and that's a shame for Wigan, because they're a team with so much history, with a great set of fans, a great football club, but things off the pitch have affected them on the pitch, which is such a shame, and I think they may get relegated into League 2, which is very, very difficult for them to experience, as always, when a team gets relegated. But with Wigan, it feels different because of the history and because of the size of the club. But Again, like I said, it's a difficult position to be in with them. Peterborough then, a team currently in 2nd, and as always, we've obviously filled up our 1st and 2nd spots, which means they can only be in one category, and that's 6th to 3rd. I think they may bottle the top 2. I think they will finish in the top 6. They will get themselves in the playoffs, and they're 2nd in the league right now. They are 2 points safe in the top 2, if you like. However, they have played a game more than Sunderland and Portsmouth, who are pushing them. I think it is between Hull, Peterborough and Sunderland. There is a bit of a gap between 4th and 3rd. So I think it's going to be tight, but I think Peterborough are going to finish 6th to 3rd. They've got a really good squad, again, with a good manager. I just think they're going to finish in the playoffs, where they should have finished last season, of course. They did get robbed last season to not finish in the top 6. However, this season, I think they definitely will be finishing there. Rochdale then, the penultimate team. Where are we going to put Rochdale? They're bottom of the league right now. I think they're going to get relegated. And with Rochdale, they actually play a really good brand of football. I really enjoy watching Rochdale. They really score a lot of goals. They've got a really good player. They've got some really good players that are going forward, but defensively, because of the way they play, they just do struggle. They're an absolute sieve at the back. They're leaky as anything at the back, and that is what's affected them. In the last 5 games, they've only won 1. The rest of them have been losses and draws, of course. But they have lost 2 of them, but they've drawn the other 2 as well. But they're on 33 points. They need to get 37 right now to get themselves out of it. They are 5 points adrift. They have got 2 games in hand, 1 game in hand, sort of around the teams in that position. I just don't think Rochdale have got enough, which is a shame, because I really enjoy watching Rochdale and playing against them, because makes a really good game of football. which is a bit of a shame. And you can see right now they've scored 47 goals. It's the most amount of goals a team has scored in the relegation zone right now, which is proves out. But they've conceded 69 goals. They've actually got pretty much the exact same ratio as Swindon. It's only Swindon have actually scored 2 less goals. But yeah, they're a team that score a lot of goals, create a really good football match, but they do concede too many, and I think that may cost them this season. Finally then, Ipswich Town, a team that, again, another team that had hopes to finish in the top 6. They desperately want to get themselves back in the Championship, but there's only one place they can put them, unfortunately, and that's 9th to 7th. I just don't think they've got enough. I think they are going to finish just outside the playoffs, which for Ipswich is a shame. And in the last 5 games as well, they have lost 2 of them. They got a new manager in, of course. They've got Paul Cook in. Is that right? Paul Cook's come in. And they did obviously sack their other manager, which I can't remember his name on the top of my head. I should know his name, but I definitely have forgotten it. When it matters, but there you go. 9th to 7th for Ipswich. That's where I think they're going to finish. And as you can see on the screen right now, that is my official predictions for the end of the season. Only 7 games left here and there for a lot of clubs. Some teams got to get more games and less games to play, but generally 7-8 games left of the season. It's a fantastic season, as I said. And also, I want to be hearing from you in the comments down below. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Where do you disagree with me? Please don't dislike it if you disagree with me. Give it a like as always, but down below as well. Make it a discussion. I want to be hearing from you as always. It's been a great episode of the podcast, one that I've thoroughly enjoyed making. So if you've enjoyed it, please do hit that like button, as I've said. And like I said, we've got lots more content coming where this comes around. Also, here's a little trailer of an episode of the podcast that I'm really, really excitedly working on. So here you go. Here's a little trailer for that one. Imagine you're in Gareth Southgate's shoes this summer and you're picking the team, you're picking the starting 11 for England's games in the Euros. It's going to be an extremely exciting tournament and hopefully England can do much better than they normally do. You need to pick the team that you believe is going to get the best out of this very, very talented group of players. You've got Foden, you've got Maddison, you've got Grealish, you've got Saka, you've got Sancho, you've got Sterling, just to name a few. They can't all play and that's where you come in. Now, I've got a football podcast over on YouTube and I want to hear from you. I want to be doing a podcast episode where I react to some of your most exciting and interesting squads, but more importantly, your starting 11s. So all you've got to do is send in your 10 to 20 second videos of you saying and naming your 11 players that you believe are going to start and you want to see starting. So DM me them to the Young Fan Podcast Instagram page. I'll be going through every single one of them and I'll be picking the most exciting and interesting ones. Also, go over to YouTube and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the episodes. Can you bring it home for England this summer? So hopefully you enjoy that. Hopefully that's something that you can get a little bit excited about. And there still is time for you to get involved. I want you to DM me either a video of you saying it or just a video or just a DM message of you naming your 11 players that you want to see start in the Euros for England this summer. A really interesting talking point and a podcast episode that I'm really excited to make and to get out to you people. So get involved. You will be involved in the podcast episode if you send in your starting 11 for England. It's very, very simple. All you've got to do is go to the Instagram page, the Young Fan Podcast on there, at the Young Fan Podcast on Instagram. Obviously, it's a public account, so all you've got to do is follow it and then DM it as well. I want to see your 11 players that you want to see starting in the Euros for England. A really interesting talking point. Hopefully, you can get behind it. We've got lots of different content coming your way as well. That's why you should subscribe. Thank you, everybody. Hopefully, you've had a good Easter, and I'll see you when this comes out. This should be coming out. I'm filming this currently on a Wednesday. Hopefully, this comes out on the Thursday or the Friday. But yeah, I've been Jack. This has been the Young Fan Podcast, and I'll see you later.